Hi, this tutorial will show you how to install SQL Server Express for the Longwatch software prior to running the Longwatch install application. There are two steps to creating a SQL database for Longwatch. Step 1 is to install SQL Server Express and create the Longwatch instance. Step 2 is to create the Longwatch database and tables. Longwatch uses SQL Server to store configuration information and event data. The 32-bit Longwatch install installs SQL Server during the Longwatch install. Sometimes the SQL Server install fails for a number of possible reasons, such as non-compliant password, a pending reboot, some other security restrictions, and various other reasons. To make installing SQL Server a little easier, we've developed a basic batch file that will install SQL Server, create the Longwatch instance, and optionally create the Longwatch database tables. This batch file can run before the Longwatch install or after an install where the SQL install portion failed. I'm going to go slow on this and show some of the details that you may need to know, so bear with me. Here we go. Okay, the first step is to unzip the SQL file, the zip file that we send to you. I'll do that now. Okay, so there's the executables. Now we're going to open up a administrative command prompt. We're going to navigate to the directory where the SQL is. Okay, and we're going to run SQL setup.bat. Okay, we've got three options. We've got I to install SQL Server Express 2006. S to define the registry setup values that would be used in Longwatch. This is very rarely used. And C to create the empty Longwatch database. SQL must be installed first. So we're going to run I. Okay, so we check to see if SQL is already installed. It appears that it's not installed, so now I'm going to confirm that I want to install SQL Server Express. Yes. Okay, so we're looking for a registry key here, HKey local key machine, local machine, software, Longwatch. This is the 64-bit registry key. And these are the default directories that we use. And I'm going to change one of them to D, Longwatch data. And that will put everything on the D drive for the data portion of SQL. Press any key to continue. And we can see that it's changed to D. This is the server name and the Longwatch instance. And this basically creates a ini file. You could change the password at this point. This is a pretty complex password. And that's the password for the SA account. So I'm going to say no. Don't need to change. Okay. Now we're going to start the installation, and I'll walk you through that. This is the temporary directory. I'm going to say OK to this. Okay, so here's the SQL setup. We supply almost all the defaults except for one. I'm going to check. I accept the license terms. Next. I'm going to just hit next on this one. Okay, this is typical. That all looks good. Okay, we're going to install just the database engine, and it's going to go to D Longwatch data database. So that's where we supplied that earlier. And the instance name is Longwatch. If there was already a Longwatch instance name here, we would be not installing this. So this is the new instance. This is the defaults. Next. Okay, this is the SA password, and the logged in user gets added as a DB admin as well. You can add another DB admin here if you want to. I wouldn't change the password here. We could change that later if it needs to be, but it really should have been changed prior to coming in here. Okay, this will take a few minutes, so I'm going to cut out most of it, and I'll be back shortly. Okay, successful install. I'm going to close this. Okay, it says SQL Server was successfully installed. If you want to create the Longwatch database now, please run the batch file again from a new admin command prompt and pick option C from the menu. We need to reload the path, so we actually need to open a new command prompt. I'm going to minimize this one. And I'm going to open a new admin command prompt. Go back to the installation bits. Rerun SQL setup.bat. Now we're going to pick option C. Okay, so we found SQL and we found the Longwatch instance. Now we're going to confirm that we want to create a new empty Longwatch database. Yes. Same paths, no need to change them. Everything looks good. No. Okay, confirm again that you want to create a new empty Longwatch database. Yes. And go through, and that's it. Q to quit. Okay, that finishes the installation of the Longwatch database. Okay, now I'm just going to show you a few things that may be useful to know about after you've installed the database. I've pre-installed the SQL Server Management Studio, so I'm going to open that up. And let's minimize these guys. Okay, so we're going to use Windows Authentication. There's the instance. Okay, there's one thing you need to do on this screen, because we don't have a certificate. This is just a basic Windows server with no work done to it. You're going to have to check Trust certificate in order to connect. So now I'm going to connect, and I'm going to look at databases, and there's our Longwatch instance, and there's our tables, and these are all our Longwatch tables. So that's information that you may need for troubleshooting down the road. I'm just going to show you a couple more things. The actual files get installed on the D drive, Longwatch data, database, MS SQL, data. And there's your Longwatch instance and all the rest of the SQL databases. One last thing to look at is the registry. HKey local machine, software, Longwatch, and these are the registry entries that the installation. Now, when you install the VCC and the LVE, they'll use this information and we'll add to it. So we'll go through that on another video. This is just useful information that you may need for troubleshooting. So that's the end of this tutorial. Wasn't too difficult, and I hope if you end up having to install SQL on your own, it helps you get through the installation. From here, we're going to go to the VCC install, which will be another video. See you later.